Hello, everybody. So this one I couldn't wait to get online. This is from our session last night, and Ezekiel, our ever lovely personal agent of chaos, decided he wanted to have a little chat with his patron, and it went about as well as he expected would.
The flames from the torches and the candles begin to flicker. The shadows begin to lengthen. What all of you collectively feel is a dark coldness that starts as if a breeze is flowing past your feet and then moves up your bodies. And it's not the coldness of winter. It's something older that belongs in a forgotten place. And it just saps the warmth from your bones. It's heavy with the weight of an unseen presence. And as you're kind of like looking around to figure out what's going on, everything goes black.
There's just last thing you probably saw was just sheer terror on my face.
Ezekiel, what have you brought upon us?
Before he's able to respond, your vision returns. And opposite where Karanath is standing is an elven woman with robes that are blacker than the void. Her skin is like a white alabaster, just reflecting a light that is not there. Her eyes themselves are just pools of blackness. And
I will, at the mere sight of her, immediately get down into a kneeling position, just staring at my feet.
so she stands before you, and as soon as you get down, you're looking at your feet. She kind of like laughs and says, "Ezekiel, look up."
Just very cautiously, I'll, with a terrified look on my face, meet her gaze.
So you look up, and there's a hint of humor in her eyes, and she's holding something. Looks like crumpled paper, which you recognize. It's a letter. Your letter.
Mm.
So she looks at it for a minute, looks at you, goes, "Ezekiel, I do so enjoy receiving love letters, but I must say," she takes the letter and flicks it so it lands at your feet, "this one's rather bold." And she just kind of like tilts her head and goes, "Go on, read it."
My lady, being as I have not yet proven myself worthy enough to contact you through magical means, I've had to resort to such crude methods as this. I hope this letter finds you in a fair disposition, and I pray you find it within your boundless compassion to overlook such shortcomings. First and foremost, let me express my sincerest gratitude in thanking you for intervening not only on behalf of my pitiful life, but for the members of the Never Chosen as well. I realize that while such actions are provided for within our arrangement, they are not always guaranteed and are subject to your whim and favor. Furthermore, the lives of those with whom I travel are not provided for within this arrangement. Further showing you your endless grace on my behalf. It is therefore my hope that you do not take the following as a lack of gratitude and forgive me for being short. Their lives and souls are not yours to claim. It was I who signed the contract giving you dominion over my life. What right do you have to threaten theirs? If you wish to lay claim, offer them the contract as you did me. I think only Tobias would be foolish enough to sign the deal, though he may not be so desperate as I was to lack the ability to negotiate his terms. Whatever compensation you seek, whatever punishment you administer, let it be my responsibility alone to bear. I am not such a fool as to pretend such a message will not come without consequence. I am, however, a big enough fool to have one further request. I was very brief in recounting to my traveling companions the details of what happened when you came to our aid, omitting some of the finer details. With your permission, I seek to inform them of the events, as well as the nature of our deal, including the terms of our contract. If such a request is to be denied, at least have the dignity to threaten them in person so they may fully grasp the terror of being on your bad side. It is my hope that I have proven myself faithful and honor-bound to our agreement. Though I may not always have been effective in your service, I hope my loyalty has earned me some leeway in forgiving the tone of my message. Eternally your humble servant, Ezekiel von Mildenstein.
So you finish reading the letter, and as you look up from the letter, you look into the queen's face, and you see she's smiling. Not kindly. There's the humor that was in her eyes is gone. The fury in her eyes is apparent, but you get a sense there's actually a bit of admiration in there as well. She's impressed that you sent this. And she looks at you and just her eyes meet yours. She says, "You ask what gives me the right." Just lets that hang in the air for a second. And like the shadows around the room just kind of like pulse, and the torches they dim to almost just embers. She takes a single step towards you, and it feels like reality shudders. You ask what gives me the right. I am the queen of air and darkness. I am the monarch of the Unseelie, sovereign of the Black Courts, she who walks between shadows. It was my will that bound your friend's flesh, my mark that held their lives when death's hand had begun to pull their souls from their body. I stood between them and the abyss. I decided they would live, and that is what gives me the right. You think my mark upon their flesh was a boon? Let us call it what it was. It was an investment. She deliberately just lets it hang. It's kind of like her gaze comes across everyone around the room.
Tobias
And
just looks her back in the eyes and just nods.
And she smiles. This smile is mocking and cruel, but a hint of amusement. Perhaps I should take back my generosity? Return them to the state I found them in? And she gestures a hand, and the three of you that bear her mark, you suddenly feel a horrendous pain as the scars of your grievous injuries that were sealed by her mark begin to rip themselves open, and you start feeling fresh blood pouring from your bodies.
I'm so sorry.
Everybody,